What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and we are gonna, as usual, go over the charts, starting out with the pre-markets. It is, what time is it right now? It is 8:30, so hopefully this video will get out before the markets open. Currently, the Dow futures are down 244, S&P down 38, and NASDAQ down 143. But remember, it's Friday. Could get a bounce, and we'll talk about what that means for Bitcoin if we get a bounce, where it might be, and where we might head to, and what comes after that. So definitely stick around for the whole video. We're also going to be taking a look at Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP. All those charts are about a year old, and they're playing out beautifully. And then we're going to look at our old gold and silver charts, see how those are playing out. So make sure you stick around for the whole video. Make sure you scroll down, smash those thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, get this video out to more people. You can also get it out to more people by sharing the video, subscribing, and leaving your comments down below. Let's take a look at what's going on. So looking at the Dow Jones, as you guys know, yesterday I talked about adjusting this line. So we would have, I'll show you. So we would have alternate touches. We had our bottom touch, top touch, bottom touch, top touch. That would suggest we are topped out. Of course, if we break this high, and that's around 34,300 points, that will invalidate this. But as of right now, it does look like we should be coming down to much lower lows for the NASDAQ. Or I'm sorry, for the S&P. You guys know I like to watch the S&P. And if it was to do this, come down, break this bottom trend line, this would be our target. So if it was to break up and go bullish from here, which I highly doubt, would get it to make a new all-time high, approximately 39.5. Now, of course, if this happened, that would probably be bullish for Bitcoin also. That is a possibility. I don't think it's a probability. I think it's more likely that we continue down. Our major support here is about this 33,271. If that breaks, it'll probably be a quick fall within the next week or two, down to 31.3, somewhere in that range, to watch for the middle of this range. So taking a look at the DXY, as you guys know, I've been bullish and remain bullish on the DXY. My next target for this is around 112 or so. Obviously, we may have little dips down in between. If we look at the big picture, let's go to the weekly. You guys know why I am macro bullish on the DXY. I have been since way back here when this broke. Actually, it was over here in 18 when I started getting bullish on the DXY. And then we broke this trend line here, which is huge. This is like a giant bull flag with a target of around 122. And then if that breaks, could go up and break the all-time highs. As you can see, this was a falling wedge that we broke out of. The measured move is 172. Now, this could take a couple years at least to get up to these levels, but definitely watch out for that. Bitcoin, we'll start out with the monthly, go all the way down into the 1 hour time frame. Then, like I said, we'll look at our old Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP charts, and then our old gold and silver charts to see how those are playing out. But we did get rejected, our 55 EMA at that 24.5 range. Let's take a look at the weekly. So on the weekly, you guys know what I've been looking for here. Our measured move from the drop of this channel was right here, hit perfectly, 25.5. And then once we broke this bear flag here, we hit our next target, absolutely perfect, 17.7. And then if we break down here, guys, on the weekly, now remember, this took a couple weeks after the break. But if we do break down here on our weekly, break that 20,700 range, if it was to happen this week, our measured move target for that is about 8,200. Now, if we just look at it as a rising broadening wedge, our first target on there is going to be around that 14.5 range. Look for a bounce in that range. Of course, we have to break our 17.5 low before then, which I do think we will be doing in the next few weeks, if not sooner. I have targets all the way down to about that 3,800 level. And that is because of the bubble pop pattern that I've been showing since December 2nd, when nobody wanted to listen. If they did listen, they did very well there. But of course, none of this is financial advice. I share my ideas and I share my experience with the markets to hopefully help you learn the markets. This is not a call channel. If you're wanting someone to tell you when to long, when to short, you're going to get wrecked. period, the end. You need to make a strategy that works for you. Like I've said before, I lost a lot of money in the six figures when I was learning to trade. I started out in penny stocks. As you guys know, my past, I've been sober about 11 years. I had a rough life, self-chosen. I chose drugs and alcohol. And I just want to let anyone know, if you're feeling rough or life's, you're down in the dumps, it's never going to get better. It does. You just got to focus, man. And one of the great things that I got into in my current wife, which I chased for 29 years, she got me into the law of attraction and had me watch The Secret and started getting into that stuff. And I tell you, it seems like BS, but it works. That's all I can say about it. Check it out. Let's go on and see what's going on in the bigger picture. So we had this in the macro. We had our channels drawn in here. Each time it hits one of these fib channels is support and resistance. Pretty big deals. Also, we had this trend line off these two wicks. We talked about getting rejected here, and that's exactly where we got rejected, right in this area. And you can see what's happening. How low will we go? Well, this brings us down to the next fib at about 12.7, 12.8 if we do it in the next couple weeks. Depending on how long that takes, we'll be keeping an eye on this. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you tick those notification bells too to get you notified when I post videos. If you guys are interested in trading, check out Prime XBT. They are by far my favorite exchange. I don't trade against you, and you can trade all the markets on it. You can trade crypto, Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow Jones. You can have multiple trades in, so you can hedge your trades, which you can't do on most of the crap exchanges. They just clump all your trades together. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. You can use my promo code SAVVY50. That'll get you up to a $7,000 bonus. SAVVY25 will get you 25% off your fees. And I believe those last for 30 days. And as you guys know, all you need is an email. So once they wear out, you can start a new email, transfer your funds, and use the promo codes again. So anyways, let's get into it. So this is what I've been talking about since back here. We had this 5-wave structure down, and we were looking for an ABC up, which we got, and then a continuation to the downside. Now, if we take a measured move from the break of this, what that gets us here, looking at this as a flagpole, this as a bear flag, gets us to about that 7,600 range. So on the daily, that's a target in the future, obviously. You guys know that up here, we had our target of the break of this right down here at 24.3. And I said once that broke, that would become major resistance, which it did. We popped a little above it, got some wicks above it, but you can see what's happening now. I also drew this possibility in of coming down. If we do get a bounce at this old low around that 17.7, it may bounce around there for a little bit before continuing down. But I'm going to show you in the next chart, a lot of times, just like we did up here, once we break through that, we continue down pretty rapidly, which is a good possibility. What's going to happen now? We'll take a look at those targets also. We had this drawn in on the RSI. I've had this arrow here since we hit up here, and you can see it played out perfectly. We are getting a nice drop here. I do think we could be getting a bounce, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. Let's get these off here. We still have a possibility this 28.4 hitting, but of course, like I said in yesterday's video, we have to cross this 25,331 first. As you can see, every time we made a low like this, and then we had the, I like to call it liquidity grab, get everybody bullish again before breaking down. Everybody thought it was going to bounce here again. 32.8 was the bottom, blah, blah, blah. Broke right through, and it obviously broke right through pretty harshly. And then what we do? We created another bear flag. And what happened? We came down this low. Everybody, 25.5 is low, never going down to 20K. Boom, blew right through it. Now our low is 17.7, which everybody is saying is the bottom. I don't believe that's the bottom either. I think we'll end up blowing right through that. As you can see, these measured moves hit perfectly. And if this one does the same, depending on if, when, and where this breaks, we could be between 7,000 and 9,000, somewhere in that range. We'll get a more precise target as things develop. But as of right now, this seems to be playing out beautifully. Now, where is this So depending on how long this takes to break, right, around 21,000 if it takes a couple days, couple weeks. This weekend's going to be huge. We'll see what happens. If this trend line breaks, I've been talking about this forever, that will be a great short opportunity, right? So what we might see here is a come down, test here, get a bounce around that 20,800 range, maybe stick around in here for a couple days, maybe get another little pump up before an actual break. So keep an eye out for this. But at any time, if we break this trend line, just like when we broke up here, expect a huge dump. Same thing around that 28.8 range. Expect a bounce if we get down to this level, although we could bounce from here. But we'll be keeping an eye on it. As you guys know, my target from yesterday, if we look, well, let's go through this. I'm getting ahead of myself. So that would be our target if we broke in the next few days, if this weekend, would be about 9,000. But that doesn't mean we don't have a bounce first, right? So where would our first bounce be? Somewhere in the 14.5 to 14.8 range is where I would expect a bounce up. Then we'd keep an eye on this RSI and see what it does. As you can see, the RSI is very low right here. But as you can see up here, when we had this touch and we got over here, we got very low also. Very low right here. You can see this low was even lower than where we're at now. Got a little bounce up, reset the RSI to continue down. So we could see something like that. So that's why I'm saying possibly expect a bounce in this range. Looking at the 1 hour, I drew this in yesterday. On yesterday's video, I had this target at 22.1. Now, remember, anytime we have these measured move targets and they are broken, they usually turn into resistance. So now, excuse me, where is our resistance? Well, let me get this out of the way. There's our measured move. All we did was measure the head to the break. Our neckline was 23.7. Once we broke that, did not go up to retest it. That's one more thing I want to explain real quick. Every time, like I said, we never hit this old low on these. Kind of got fake outs, got towards it, but never hit it. Just like we did here. If we zoom in, we never hit that. And I talked about that happening for the last week or so. Now, let's get into, so what happens if this breaks up? Well, if this ends up breaking up and you know, fakes me out, me thinking it's going to go lower, could go up to as high as that 33,000 range. We talked about that for a while, but for that to happen, we have to see this trend line broken, and that's going to be around 27, 28,000. So there's still a possibility of getting up to that range. We've been talking about that for a while, but now our resistance that we have to get above is this 22.1 range, right? So what might happen here on the watch the hourly, we get a pump in the RSI. It could stick around, continue. Let me go back over here and show you. So over here, see how high the RSI pumped. Got another pump right here. And what happens there, that's the RSI resetting for more downside, and you can see what happens after that. So reading the RSI correctly is key. It's not oversold and overbought like people talk about. That'll get you wrecked if you're playing the RSI like that. I'm going to make some more in-depth videos on the RSI and on my Ema Sell Signals. We talked about that over here the other day in my Discord. You can check out my Discord. The link's down below. We had the Ema Sell Signal here, which is the 8, the 13, and the 21 crossing the 55. And then the next candle after the cross, opening and closing below 23.6. That doesn't mean it can't go up higher after that, like it did here, a fake out. But there is a, oh, I don't have it on here. There is, one of my viewers made a indicator there. I think it's called the Savvy EMA indicator or something like that. I'll show you in tomorrow's video if I think about it. If you go in the Discord, people in there may have it on, or I will look for it and show you. Anyways, let's get back into what's going on here. So this is the key area of resistance to look for now, is at 22.1, excuse me. Excuse me again. So anyways, this is what we're looking for, 22.1. If we do get a bounce, look for a rejection there and a continuation to the downside. But again, we may bounce around in here for quite some time before actual capitulation. But at any time we break this bottom trend line here, guys, depending on how quick it would be to get there, between 20,800 and 21,000 in the next few days, look for some severe downside targets. Ethereum. So Ethereum, we got rejected right where we thought. 1919 is where I had it. We got a little higher. We got to 20,021. Nevertheless, we made hidden bearish divergence, which was we made actually this hidden bearish divergence. So if we go from this high to this high, we made higher highs. If we do it from down here, it's kind of hard to show in here, but you can see the triple top on the RSI. Look where this high was. Look where this high is, much lower. They were even here. That's actually exaggerated divergence. But anyways, I still think we come down to at least this trend line. Now, this is the trend line we'll be looking for a break. If we break this, then we go down to our targets around 692. Probably get a bounce in that area, maybe bounce for a couple days, continue back down. It may take a couple tries, but I do think this will break. Most likely we're going to hit this when Bitcoin hits its false bottom. If you want to know what I'm talking about, watch any of my previous videos where I go in depth about the macro trend. But ultimately 2023, middle to end of 2023 is where I see Bitcoin bottoming and possibly all the alts bottoming. And Litecoin almost hit our resistance there at 68.31. Now remember, these charts, the Ethereum, Litecoin, and the XRP charts are about a year old now. We've been looking for this target here, 24. Could be much, much lower if the bottom is actually in 2023. But that's where I'm looking at for Litecoin and XRP. XRP is almost back down to our 30-cent range. Remember, if this breaks, our next target is 17. And if that is just the false bottom, you don't want to know what the actual price will be at the actual bottom in 2023. If I'm correct about that. And one of the things I want to point out too is this is the Amazon chart, which is playing out beautifully. It is 2 to 3 years for the macro bottom. So for those of you that are believing that it's just going to, be this huge bull run because of the 4 you're having, good luck. It could happen, but I don't see it, guys. It's a macro bottom's going to have to form in that weekly. Remember the false bottom, just like we had right here. Let me zoom into it. And I think this is going to be around that $7,000 to $8,000 range. That false bottom right here, right? Everybody thought it was over, had a nice little rally. Then a continuation. People, I'm sure, were very bullish right here. And then once it broke that false bottom, which I think will be Bitcoin's 7,500 or so, go down to that 3,000 to 5,000 range to break that. Confidence will be lost in the market. Many people will disappear. It will take a long time for Bitcoin to recover. Now, from this bottom to this first rally, which was about 2 years, right? So if in 2023 we hit this, maybe in 2025, people are going to believe that this is the halving rally, and then we'll just continue back down. But it took 10 years to break that all-time high. And this is a pattern, guys. Patterns usually play out well. This is my bubble pop pattern, which I showed you yesterday in Sony. I showed it to you in a couple others. Just be careful out there, guys. Yes, it could go to the moon. I'm not seeing that at all. I've been pretty dead on accurate the last couple years on this whole macro chart. So be careful out there. Be careful who you listen to. Remember, bulls and hodlers only make money if the price goes up, because they're only going to push the price goes up narrative. So be careful with that. And those that are telling people that Bitcoin only goes up, it's only going to go up, be careful, guys. That is very irresponsible of anybody telling anyone that any asset is just going to continue up, right? I'm not saying it's not, but there is no guarantee in any market. Do not get emotionally attached, especially if you're trading. Don't get emotionally attached to any asset. You'll be much better off. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to smash those likes, Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Tick your notification bells and subscribe to the channel for daily updates. I'm out.